Lyric Markers gives you a karaoke style readout in a separate window. They were originally introduced in Samplitude Pro X4, so I thought it was about time I did a video showing you how to use them. There are some preliminary settings you need to make, so I'm going to show you how to set them up. I'm going to start by pressing Y to open the audio setup window, and then go down the list on the left to where it says View Options. And under VIP, it says Lyric Marker, and I'm going to tick that box and click OK. Lyric markers will now appear on the timeline when I insert them. Next thing you need to do is to make sure you have the Docker enabled. I have it enabled, and you can see the tabs of the Docker along here. If that's not showing, go to the View window and enable Manager Docker. It has a tick next to it to show it's active. Next, we need to add an extra manager to the Docker, so go to the far right where there's the plus sign here, and we need to specifically add a time display window, so I'm going to click that, and there it appears as a time display. It will probably look something like this, so what we need to do is add an extra field, Insert Field, Marker, Lyrics. So that's a blank field at the moment. We need to delete the rest of the fields, so I'm going to delete this field, the range end field and the position field. So now we have an empty window, but this will be populated once I start adding markers. So I want to insert my first lyric marker, which will be the first line of the first verse. So I'm going to place the play cursor at bar 9, which is the beginning of the verse 1 object. The easiest way to find the command for inserting a lyric marker is to type in the search window here. I'm going to type in lyric. So there are two options: new lyric marker, which is under play record marker lyrics marker, new lyric marker, or play record marker new lyrics marker, new lyric marker with name. So I'm going to add the first marker. I'm going up to menu item play record, marker, lyrics marker. I'm going to use the first option, which is new lyrics marker. So the first marker is blank, so I'm double clicking on the marker to open the text entry window, and here I can add the lyric text. In your situation, you may be copying and pasting from a text document, or typing in manually, or maybe using voice-to-text software, which is what I'm going to use. Cap, first line of the first verse. So that's the first line added. So I'm going to add the second lyric marker, placing the play cursor at bar 11, going to play record, marker, lyrics marker, and I'm choosing the second entry, which is new lyrics marker with name. A window will then pop up and you can add the text straight away. I also have Shift+L as the shortcut, which is very handy, so I suggest if you're going to be using lyric markers to add your own shortcuts. So there's the second marker. I'm going to add the lyric, cap, second line of the first verse. So that's been added. Placing the play cursor at bar 13, and I'm using the shortcut this time, which is Shift+L. There it is. What happens is, when you add the next marker, it will always have the previous lyric. So you need to overwrite that with the new lyric. So I'm going to use the voice to text again. Cap, third line of the first verse. And I'm adding one more marker for this verse. Shift+L is my shortcut. Cap, fourth line of the first verse. So now we have all four lyric markers inserted for the first verse. So one would continue adding all the lyric markers for the entire song, but for my tutorial I'm just using the first verse as an example. So I'm going to place the play cursor just before the first verse, and I'm going to open the time display which we configured earlier. So you can see it says first line of the first verse. This is in white, which means it's pending, so if I hit play, as soon as it becomes active it turns red, and the second line is pending, and now second line is red as it's active, third line is pending, so now that's active, and the fourth line is now active. So this is a very useful function, being able to display the lyrics in a separate window. You can also resize the Docker, so bring it up to make the lyrics bigger, like that. And you can also undock the display, so you can drag it out, then you can resize it, and you can put it on a separate monitor if you want to, so it's quite flexible in that respect. And you can redock it by just dragging it back to the dock, and there it is again. Lyric markers reside on the grid and marker bar. This space is also shared by project markers. These would be the ones you use to navigate around a project. They could be named, for example, verse, chorus, pre-chorus, etc. If you have a lyric marker and a project marker sharing the same time position, the lyric marker will obscure the project marker. For example, if I add a project marker at bar 9, you won't be able to view it because the lyric marker is given priority. Although if I insert a project marker at a position not shared by the lyric marker, it will of course be visible. You can hide lyric markers by pressing Y and going to the View options, and under the VIP section untick the lyric marker checkbox. Any project markers previously obscured will now be visible. Of course, even if the lyric markers are turned off, you can still view the lyrics in the display. It's possible to access lyric markers in the Marker Manager, although they are turned off by default. I'm clicking on the tab named Markers to open the Marker Manager. You can see that the project markers are visible. To view the lyric markers, click on the small downward arrow to the right of the filter icon. Then select Lyric Marker to make them viewable in the Marker Manager. So when you select a lyric marker, the play cursor will jump to that position in the VIP, even though the marker isn't showing in the VIP. You can also drag the Marker Manager out of the dock and have it as a floating window. I find the Marker Manager very useful for navigating around large projects. I've also added an icon here which will hide or show the Marker Manager. So that concludes my tutorial on lyric markers. I hope you found it useful, and until next time, all the best.